How did you come to be involved in the Student Project Symposium?
It was actually recommended to me by my supervisor, who I co-authored this project with, or I guess she was my supervisor for the project. She sent me an email regarding it.
Right, can you briefly describe what your project is about?
I can try. So basically, I had the opportunity this summer to do my own field research. I was working in Dr. Morrissey's lab. We were surveying 12 different wetlands. I chose 2 of those. Basically, what I'm looking at is 4 different trap types, a horizontal activity trap and a vertical activity trap, and 2 of those were placed in the marginal region of wetlands, and 2 of them were placed in open water. What my project is looking at is which one of those traps is the most effective at capturing the community structure in those wetlands. So which trap captured the most bugs and the most different kinds of bugs. And the importance of this is knowledge of that could be used in making recommendations for which traps to use when surveying wetlands in the future when looking at effects of pesticides.
So what did you ultimately find out?
Well, I'm still in the middle of getting my results. I'm about halfway, but I do have some predictions. Based on the literature that I've read, I know that vertical activity traps typically have a higher abundance of invertebrates that swim up into them just because of their position. I also expect that I actually won't see that big of a diversity in my traps in general because my wetlands were already in areas that were impacted by pesticides. So I know that sensitive species probably aren't going to be in my samples.
So how has this learning experience impacted your future aspirations or career goals?
Well, anyone who's a biologist knows that field work is probably as hard as it gets. I was working, no joke, between 10 to 16-hour days all summer. I had 6 days off between May and August. So you're up every day. The earliest that I started work when I was helping some of the grad students, we were misnetting starlings. I had to be up at 3:30 in the morning. So if anything, it's really taught me that I have a lot more endurance than I thought I did. And it's also taught me the importance of working meticulously and that hard work. You put in that much hard work for such a small bit of data. It's really taught me the value of science and to appreciate publications.
Okay, thanks. So what do you think you learned by doing this field work that you wouldn't have learned in a classroom?
Wow, it's the difference between actually going out there and doing what you've learned about and just sitting in a classroom and learning it. I would liken it, for instance, to if you think about sports, huge difference between sitting in a classroom and someone describing soccer to you as opposed to actually going out in the field and playing soccer. That's pretty much the difference that you learn here. I had heard everyone knows about science publications. You learn from the get-go, sort of the basics of science. Huge difference actually going out there, dealing with storms, dealing with adverse weather, getting from A to B, getting stuck in mud, getting chewed on by ticks. Totally different experience. You really learn about what goes into each project that scientists do.